Welcome back to our series on CDLs. We've been over how to get one, and some ways people tend to lose them. Most importantly, at least to our practice, are the disqualifications associated with DWIs. There are three main offenses that we see regularly. First is the civil revocation, second is refusing a chemical test, and third is the actual DWI conviction. Two of these will usually happen in quick succession on the date of arrest. Let's start with the civil revocation. When you're arrested for DWI and the officer suspects that the impairment is from alcohol, he will take your license for 30 days. After those 30 days, you go to the clerk's office in the county you were charged in and pay a $100 fee to get your license back. The problem is, though, that the civil revocation itself will disqualify you from holding a CDL for 1 year. It doesn't matter how the DWI turns out. You can be found not guilty and still be disqualified just for the civil revocation. Next, after you've been arrested for DWI, you'll be taken to either the local jail for a breath test or an EMS station or hospital for a blood draw. The officer will read you your implied consent rights and ask that you sign an acknowledgement of those rights, understanding that if you refuse the chemical test, whether it be breath, blood, or urine, your driving privileges will be suspended for a year. Be aware that refusal of a chemical test will also disqualify you from holding a CDL for 1 year. Finally, pleading to or being found guilty of a DWI will disqualify you for a year. Here's where the problem lies. If you receive 2 one-year disqualifications, you will be disqualified for life, but there is a possibility to reduce the period of disqualification to 10 years. That means even if you beat the DWI, if you receive the civil revocation and refuse a chemical test, you're disqualified for life. More commonly, though, you'll have received the civil revocation and lost the DWI or pled, which is still a lifetime disqualification, though there's still that possibility of reduction to a 10-year period. The fix to this is to challenge the civil revocation within 10 days, and find out how to do that in the video linked in the description. You can also challenge the refusal of the chemical test, but those generally don't turn out in the defendant's favor. So if you have a CDL, you need to address the civil revocation. Lastly, fighting the DWI itself is also important. If you lose, you'll likely be eligible for a limited driving privilege, but that privilege is only for non-commercial vehicles. You cannot obtain a driving privilege for your CDL. To summarize, in order to keep your commercial driver's license, stay away from drugs, don't drink and drive, and always stop at railroad crossings. If you find yourself in any legal situation where you think you might lose your CDL, give us a call. And remember, arrested doesn't mean guilty.